Hello and welcome to the Royal Survivor 45 podcast analysis. I'm your host King, joined here by King's mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
How you doing, Mom?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
I'm interested after this past episode of Survivor.
Yeah.
As always, we get back from Tribal.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the beach. Sifu is pissed.
Right.
He doesn't say anything at first. He's just kind of keeping it to himself, but we know at the last Tribal, he outright asked Sean, who was voted out, who wanted to be voted out. He asked him, he's like, did you vote for me? And he's like, no, I didn't vote for you, which was also kind of a scummy thing to do. And so he knows one of the women that have been his Reba allies from the beginning voted for him.
Right.
So.
Yeah, at the Tribal, his face was like, when his name come up, he was like blindsided.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then he hugged Sean goodbye, and that's when he asked him, and Sean's like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
He is quite quirky because he keeps referring to himself in the third person. He's like, who voted Sifu? And it's like, that's your name,
Yeah. Some people do that, which is a little odd.
As we know, it was Dee who voted for him. She, at the very last second, told the women to vote for him, and they both decided to just get rid of Sean instead of causing more issues, especially because he might just quit right away after anyway, so...
Yeah, well, yeah, we haven't talked about that, the fact that he wanted them to vote for him.
He wanted them to vote him off, so they did, but she voted Sifu, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which really, if you think about it, wasn't that smart.
No.
Because, you got this guy saying he's done his thing, he, wants to go back to his life, and really wants to be voted. And like you said, if he's not, he's going to quit. So she, if Sifu does find out it was her, that's not good.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bright move, if you ask me.
I still don't get what the big deal is with him. I get he's, I guess, more physically capable than they are, but we've seen him in challenges. He's just okay.
Right. Yeah.
He hasn't blown anybody all out of the water like Caleb, for example, has.
Right.
So... And even like Julie said, he's our muscle. We kind of need him still. I just don't get why they're so gung-ho about getting rid of him. And they're afraid he's got an idol, but 4 of the 6 know Austin has the idol because he came there and they helped him find it and everything. So I'm like, because they keep talking, Sifu probably has an idol. From what? There's only one per beach. And Austin has it. Other than Jay, they all know that. So
yeah, it's not like Sifu went on a journey or anything.
No,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's
what
bad play.
I find interesting about this particular Survivor is there's a lot of talk about preparing for the merge. How you want to go into the merge.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was always an underlying thing in past Survivors and that, but they're really like saying. And I think that's where Dee's coming from. I don't know why she thinks Sifu's so strong in that, but I would think you want an alliance with your tribe to go into the merge.
Well, they keep saying Reba's strong, and now they're trying to get rid of a Reba or whatever. And in my mind, wouldn't it be better to just keep him for a bit? Then when you have the numbers, blindside his ass because he'll be thinking you're still with them. Now he knows they're trying to get rid of him, so now he's against them. It was really dumb. And the show keeps trying to like show more of Dee, and at first I was thinking, maybe she'll become important, but she's not playing very smart. She analyzes people well, but she just that was dumb. Yeah. And so at Tribal, he's trying to deduce who did it, and I did like what he said. He's like, all these women deserve an Oscar because I can't tell which one's lying straight to my face. So, because they all deny that it was them. So,
yeah. Well, that's another thing. Somebody voted for him. It supposedly wasn't Sean, and they're all saying, "No, we didn't."
Yeah.
But he knows one of them did.
Yeah. He tells them Sean told me it wasn't him.
She would have been better off coming out and going, "It was me. I don't know. I just."
Panicked or whatever.
Yeah.
Try to make yourself look not bright or something.
Yep.
So we're there. We don't get a whole lot with the other tribes.
Just a little bit with Bella. What I found quite amusing. I mean, they're on day 10 here.
Right.
And there was like this whole thing about they're all talking about food.
Yeah, it goes on for a while, right?
You know, each one, you know, is talking about their favorites, what they really want right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kendra, or I don't know who found it, but somebody found a worm. And
she did,
Kendra tried to eat it.
And it wouldn't go down, so
No.
she spit it back up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because they're talking protein, we need protein, you
Mhm.
know. And yeah, she couldn't get it to go down. So that was kind of amusing to me.
Yeah.
You know, I think I would try it.
You would?
I think I would. I mean, especially the fact that, you know, it's one of those. A worm is not as bad as like you can just swallow it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a. You know, sometimes when they eat dried tarantulas
Or the
something,
grubs,
crunch,
yeah.
you gotta crunch and yeah. So anyway,
I don't know. I guess if I was hungry enough, you eat anything at that point. I just can't imagine it, but I'm not starving on an island, so I can't imagine.
Well, no, right,
Um,
yeah. Now when you can just walk 10 feet to the pantry, get whatever you want.
Is that some kind of fat joke? But I know on Lulu, Jake, for the second time, he collapsed.
Yeah, he fell again.
And we get a bit of insight into his backstory. He used to be like 280 pounds or something like that.
Mhm.
And he lost a lot of weight to like come, and he feels better, but he's worried that's like also making him dizzy or something.
Yeah, I don't think he quite understands why it's happening to him.
Because we thought the first time it was the fire or the smoke from the fire getting into him.
Right.
But it seems like that just happened no matter what, because I hear it happen again. And I don't blame him. He feels frustrated. You know, he's trying to get in better shape, and now he's like, his body's like wearing out on him already. So, and nobody else is really judging him for it, though. So
No, and like you said, the first time it was like we thought it was the fire. And this time someone helped him up. He was laying down and he helped him up.
Mhm.
And then he just stopped mid-walking and then went down. It wasn't like he fainted,
No.
you know? So it's a little odd and kind of shook again.
Yeah.
So maybe his body, you know, maybe he was on a certain regimen
Mm-hmm.
for, I think he said for the past year is how he lost all the weight.
Right.
He was, you know, he was a binge eater.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's what he said when he was 287 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the past year, he's been losing weight and that. And maybe now he's like not eating anything.
Yeah.
And maybe that's screwing with him.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah, they all get tired. It was just, his is scary because he's like going down, you know, where everyone else is just kind of tired. But
yeah.
we also, I mean, constantly Katurah keeps talking about, oh, Bruce is so bad. Ironically, in this episode, we see him throw a little shade her way when they're sitting there. She mentions something about camp, and he says, well, that is the stupidest, you know, he goes to just completely say how it's a stupid idea, and he apologizes and everything, but she's like, there's that condescending dad-like behavior coming from him. So we finally see that. She's been complaining about him since day one.
Mm-hmm.
We finally see a side that she apparently doesn't like, but it doesn't seem like he talks like that all the time. Ironically, he talks to her like that, but he also knows she has it in for him. So.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and everyone's still trying to fight for Caleb, I know. So to win him over, you know, because the old Bella, who are now Lulu, they're all trying to like break apart from one another, it seems.
Mm-hmm. So right.
But anyways, anything else on that?
Well, Katurah was looking for an idol, and
right?
She was caught looking.
Yes.
You know.
And Caleb saw her first and tried to help her, but they all saw her. That's right.
Yeah. So, but you know,
You're
I wouldn't hold it against somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I really wouldn't. It's the game.
It can make you paranoid that they might have it now or something, but it's far. And it's different when you're doing on day one. You don't even want to talk to anybody. Here, at least, like, you're day 10. Who's not looking for an idol?
Right. Yeah. You know, you want any help you can get. And switching tribes here with Reba, we got Sifu making a fake idol.
And it looked pretty realistic, too.
I mean, I guess he was pulling things off of where their sign is for their camp. That's what I think I saw.
Yeah.
You know, beads and whatever else. I don't know.
It looked like he. I don't know if this is the case, but it looked like almost like a shark tooth. I think it almost looks like he carved wood to look like a shark tooth or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, we've seen that a lot, making a fake idol. Some are better than others, you know. But his was pretty good, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know I see there on your notes, even it reminded me on Bello, the nerds, which is Drew, Brando, and even Emily to an extent. They're sitting around talking nerdy stuff. Specifically, Drew and Brando both love playing Pokemon, so I was able to relate to that.
Right.
And they go on for what seems like hours because there's these time lapses of just different Pokemon and what they catch and what they like and that kind of thing. And Brando mentions, what if we have a secret nerd alliance? He's like, because the nerds don't often make it like to the end because people think they're too smart and also weak or whatever. And in a bit of over the top arrogance, Drew goes, "Oh, I wouldn't do that." Like he just shuts it down completely, and Brando goes, "Okay, then I'm gonna try and get rid of you," kind of thing. He doesn't say that to him, but it goes like that, and I'm sitting there thinking, why didn't Drew just lie to him, and agree? And I don't think that was like the way he just shut him down like that. It was kind of, like I said, it was like over the top, just like, "Oh, I wouldn't work with you," and it's
arrogant, like you said.
Yeah, and so now his bad social game is kind of coming into play there because that I didn't think that was very. I didn't think it was like crippling, but it didn't sound very good,
Yeah. I mean, I know you like him. I'm not a fan.
I'm not like, oh, this guy has to win kind of thing, but I just like that he was playing. He's a young guy and everything. I think I'm just charmed by his arrogance at times because he's a bit of a villain, not like mwahaha villain, but he definitely thinks he definitely thinks he's playing better than he is.
Yeah.
And that makes him interesting to me, at least. Like I said, these past couple of seasons, everybody's just like, "I'm so happy to be here with all you wonderful people. I'm so sorry I have to get rid of you." Like, screw you, that's the point of the game, You don't gotta be a jerk to everybody, but, like, it's nice when these people are like, "I'm not working with him, I can't wait to can his ass," that kind of thing, it's not like they're talking to that person, that's just what they're saying to the camera or whatever, and so Drew, I think he's a decent player, but he definitely thinks he's better than he is, so it'll set up for either him redeeming himself later on or a very funny to watch him fall at some point, like I think I've seen people say that they like rooting against him, but it still means he's captivating to watch. So, and he gets a lot of confessionals. I know he's like in third place, I believe. So he's important here for some reason.
Oh, as far as confessionals?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Emily dominates her.
Who the heck keeps track? You're not keeping track, are you? You're seeing it online?
I see like a thing that fills it out each time.
Okay.
So just so I like to be aware of it. So.
Okay.
But yeah, he just completely shuts Brando down, and that will lead into later. Well, I guess first things are we go to the challenge.
Yeah.
With the newer tribes here.
Yeah, I mean, it's an immunity and reward. The reward is 10 fish, good-sized fish for the winners, and then 5 fish for the second place.
And then the losers they lose their flint and they go to tribal.
Right. Right. So we got an obstacle course. You got to collect 3 bags.
Oh, yeah, it's those vertical ones where you climb up and, like, across a ladder, and then you drop down. Yeah, it's, like, multiple levels.
Yeah. And then you find a key to get a hook to hook sandbags.
Yeah, it's a long hook, and there's, like, a string on these various, like, grooves, and you gotta, like, use the hook to whittle it through there, and then you can yank the string, and it'll drop a bunch of bags.
Right, okay. And then you have to hit targets with the sandbags with like a
slingshot.
That's right. Yeah.
And because since one tribe is now only 4, 2 people sit out, and so the 3 do the obstacle course. The one person then uses the hook, and then one of the first 3 to run the obstacle course, each one has to shoot and land the target. And who wins?
Reba wins
in a very shocking display. Yeah, they come in first. They get all the fish. And then second place is Lulu.
Right.
Which means Bello, the most diverse tribe, as we say, because it has all 3 original people from the original tribes there. They lose, and so they got to go to tribal council. Later, what does Jeff say first?
Oh, is it that Reba picks people to go on the journey?
Yeah, there's a new journey, and Reba has to pick one from their own and then one from each.
Right.
They actually, I think they just do rock, paper, scissors, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
And they pick, and J-Maya wins, and so she gets to go. And then from Lulu, they pick...
Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly, because she sat out, and because Jeff asked why, and they said we felt bad that she had to sit out because she didn't want to, so they're like, so we're giving her this, and she's like, thanks. And then from Bello, they pick Austin.
Mm-hmm.
In what I think is a very stupid way to word it, they say, and he's like, why? And they're like, well, we know him and we want to see what we can get from him. You know how bad that makes him look on the tribe he's on? Like he's just going to give away all their secrets now to his own tribe? Like, don't say it like that. I don't know. I heard that. I'm like, are you stupid? I thought you were in an alliance with him. Why are you saying that? So, I don't know. I thought that was a really bad play there to say that. Because they're not purposely trying to put crap on him. They want him to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But yet they're kind of throwing him under the bus instead of just saying, oh, we miss him. You know, you could have just said that or something. I don't know. But just, I don't know. I thought that was really bad. It makes him look bad. Nothing really comes of it. It just, to me, in my mind, if I was on his tribe and he's going, I'm like, oh, you know, I guess he's just gonna talk to his old friends, huh?
Well, you know, you did see him though, like in a confessional right there, and go, I'm not giving him nothing,
right?
You know,
yeah, he's already like, it seems like he's past that point. So, which good. I'm just saying for the people that are with him and everything, you know, because anyway, because the whole point is Emily keeps saying, I'm in the middle, you know, so you want to sway her. So we go on the journey. The three of them, they talk a little. They have to climb really high up a mountain and they're drained. And they get a majority rules pick between sandwiches and like juice, or they each get an advantage.
Right.
The advantage are these amulets that it's kind of complex, but they each get one, and if they use it, like there's 3 different effects basically. If all 3 are still in play, the first person to use it, I don't know what it does.
Extra vote.
But then when that's played, then the other 2 they get stronger. The second one is steal a vote, right?
Right.
And then and then if there's only 1 left, it becomes a full-fledged immunity item.
Right.
And it can be played till like final 6, I think it said. So it forces them to either work together and try and use them at appropriate times, or just start going after one another.
Yeah.
Personally, I agreed with Austin, because he said it just puts targets on all of them, and he was starving.
Yeah.
He voted sandwich.
Yes.
J. Maya's sitting there going, I want to play, I want the advantage. It's easier for Austin to say that too, because 1, he's a bigger guy, he's starving, he needs the food, but also he's got like 3 advantages on him already.
Yeah.
But so Kelly's stuck in the middle, like it seems like she always is in this game. But majority rules, and the girls say they want the amulets. And so Austin says, I'm not going to fight them on it. But he does walk away just staring painfully at those sandwiches. Yeah. I felt sad for him, honestly.
I did too. I mean, day 10 and you're starving. And there they are right there, these big like sub sandwiches.
If I was there, I would have been like, all right, let's grab the amulet. And then I'd be like, all right, the producers can hate me. And I just jump the sandwich table anyway and see what they say. But... So, yeah, they all end up getting these amulet advantages, saying, all right, this could be the start of a new alliance.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, which I think is hilarious, because eventually Austin gets back at camp, and the minute he gets in touch with Drew, he tells them, and Drew goes, so we got to vote them out. And he goes, yeah, we got to vote them out. So they're already gunning for those 2 women. So before Austin gets back, of course, Bello they don't actually scramble. They sit down, and Emily goes, so are we going to chaotic scramble, or are we going to respectful scramble? And they all say respectful scramble, meaning they all willingly admit they're going to go off like 2 and 2 and talk, which basically means everyone's going to talk to Emily.
Right.
So they go off. Emily talks to Kendra, and she tells her, I think we'll be great together, you with the Bellows. And, it's all just... They seem to get along really well, those 2. Brando sits down next to Drew, and he tells him, I think Emily's going to go with you guys. If you keep me around and vote out Kendra, like, I'll vote her. And he offers him his shot in the dark, which Drew says, you keep it. But I appreciate that, and they shake on it. And immediately, Brando goes to confessional and says, I'm lying to him. I just want him to feel comfortable. We're totally going to win Emily over. And Drew goes, that was way too easy. There's no way he was being completely honest with me. And then it leads into this part that makes me want to pull my hair out, where Emily sits with Drew, and, he talks about aligning with her, and he tells her what Brando told him and thinks he's lying to me. Well, Emily goes to Brando and he says, no, Drew came to me and said we should vote out Kendra and everything. And I don't know. I told you sometimes I look online to see what people like make of like situations like that. And everybody's saying, yeah, Drew is playing so badly. And I'm like, well, what he said to Brando earlier to kind of turn him against him, I get. Here, I don't really know, other than the fact Emily kind of chooses to believe Brando more. Like, she's just like, oh, that's what Drew said? She goes to Drew and says, you're lying. I want you to tell me the truth. And he goes, I am telling you the truth. And he is.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how he could do that better, other than the fact he can be a little shifty or whatever. And I guess he just seems less trustworthy than Brando. But I'm just sitting there like, huh. Like, I don't know how she really trusts one over the other. Like, obviously one's lying, but she don't know either that well. I don't know why she's just picking one over the other. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so now Drew's sweating bullets because he thinks she's gonna vote for him, and that's what both the ex Bellows, or well, they're still Bellows, you know, on the new Bellow. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
They
Kendra and Brando want to vote.
They want to vote Drew, especially because they say, well, Austin's good in challenges, and Drew's like, well, Kendra says he's not helpful at all. He's good at puzzles and stuff. It's more that they think he's too like strategic or whatever, and he's not as helpful physically as Austin is. But they, you know, I don't know, she just don't like him, you know. And she thinks he's just gunning for her, and she's like, and I'm like, look, Kendra, who do you think he's gonna gun for? There's two options. So
yeah.
But eventually Austin, the charming fellow he is, comes back. He talks to Drew. He goes to Emily and makes her feel better, it seems, because she really likes him. Mm-hmm. And they seem to have a closer bond. It seems like she's closer with one on the ends of the two pairs than she is with the other, you know. So
yeah.
And Austin talks to Drew, and they agree to tell her about the amulet, and so,
which he lied to the others about the journey.
Yeah, he said they had to do a challenge. He said, yeah, there were sandwiches or advantages, but they had to do a challenge. So they agreed to do the challenge, and they blew it.
Yeah.
That's not true, of course. So,
right.
And so, yeah, Drew and Emily know he has this amulet. Mm-hmm. And him sharing that with her kind of wins more of her favor.
Yeah, I think so.
So she says. But they're heading to camp, and Emily goes, you know, this, again, a lot of it's from her perspective, like this main character story going, I'm surprised I'm in this position, but I got to pick on what's better for me. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got that covered.
So we end up going to tribal.
Right.
I don't know if you want to comment on anything there, you know.
Well, just the only thing I have here is the fact that Austin used two of his advantages at this tribal council.
Right.
He had where, in order for an idol to be an idol, he had to sacrifice a vote.
Right. He has the lifespan idol, or it doesn't really have a name. It's just the idol that he can use it at this tribal, or he can use it up to the merge if he gives up his vote, which he does.
Right. Then he has another advantage that restores the vote.
If you lost it, yeah. I believe that was the goodwill advantage.
Oh, there you go.
That they were given from Caleb when he visited a long time ago.
Yeah.
So now he still has his vote, so he can vote someone, but he also still has he has an immunity idol and the amulet, which can eventually become an immunity idol.
Right.
So,
right. So he still has two advantages.
So
left.
Austin's sitting pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. And Drew has one too, because they're such a couple.
Right. Yeah. They're basically Steven and JT.
Yeah.
It's just that Austin's, you know, just as charming, but Drew isn't so well looked upon, strategically.
Yeah.
So Austin kind of has to carry socially, but they have the Drew is holding the one where you can leave tribal, not vote, but you're safe kind of advantage.
That's right. Yeah, I'm getting them. There's so many of them out there.
Well, yeah, that's what. There's all kinds of things you can play, but those two, they're quite powerful as a duo strategically, even if socially not so much. So,
right.
And so I was, you know, it could go either way because Austin doesn't play any idols or anything, and you know. Emily, you know, even kind of tells Jeff she's in the middle with these people. They're not really gonna go against her, kind of thing. But there isn't really much to indicate who's going where.
No.
But they just vote, and surprisingly, it winds up being Brando.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you get 2 votes, Drew, and then 3 for Brando. Kendra is completely shocked.
Oh, yeah, the look on her face, it was, yeah.
But Emily puts her hand on her leg and says, I'm sorry. Like she didn't want to turn on her, but she wanted to side with the guy. So, and so Brando, he's a good sport about it and everything. He's happy with his experience. We weren't seeing much of him early on. We didn't know, if he was going to, do more or not. He didn't do a lot.
Much of a force.
No, he didn't do a lot for me.
Nice kid.
Yeah.
He
didn't do a lot for me and we didn't see much of him. And so he went home, and so, yeah, the remaining members of Bello, it's now the Reba are the only ones with their entire original tribe intact now. So,
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see where we go from here because in the previews, it looks like they're all going to the same beach. That doesn't necessarily always mean merge,
right?
But they're hinting at it because there's only 13 left, which is still quite a big number to merge, but I think they've done that before.
I think so too. Yeah, normally it was 10, I believe. And that's why they never, until they did a 13, they're like, wow, we're going to merge at 13? It was, but...
But then, if I may, there's been times where they all get put on the same beach. They're like, this is great. And then they come back and Jeff goes, you're not merging.
Right.
And he splits them into new tribes or whatever. So it could go either way, I guess.
Right.
But this is what everyone's worried about, the merge, who's going in kind of thing. So, and this new era, it's like people who said they were aligned for the first 3 episodes, 2 episodes later, they're gunning for one another. So, allegiances could lie anywhere at this point. So.
Yeah, alliances don't seem to mean as much as they used to in past seasons, for me anyway.
Yeah.
It's a fickle generation, if you ask me.
Yeah,
whichever way the wind blows, they go.
That's honestly what it seems like. I mean, some of these final 7 or 8s or whatever, it's like no matter who was your enemy 1 vote ago, you're now begging them to help you vote out someone else, and I'm like, where does this come from? I guess we're just used to older Survivor where it was oftentimes this group versus this group, and if one person flipped, it was such a big deal. Yeah. Now nobody's almost ever loyal to anybody, it seems like. You normally have pairs, but then you have a Cody and Jesse situation where they go really far and then they turn on each other anyway, and it kind of backfires for both of them. So,
well, I'm interested to see, especially, I don't know, because Emily's, I like her now, and with Drew and Austin and that, it'll be interesting to see if they stick together. I'd like to see them stick together. It would be nice.
Three individuals I enjoy watching together, you know. Well, because you also have supposedly still Julie, D, Austin, Drew. They agreed to this foursome early on for Reba.
Right.
And so we need to see if they keep that, if they bring Emily in, if they start turning on one another. I mean, there's a lot that can happen. And
that would be good, to bring Emily in. Then you got a good 5 right there that could go to the final 5, if you play things right.
Yeah. And in this, you could have 4 people. If you have a merge of 13, you could have 4 or 5 people getting votes at that tribal or whatever, with everybody having different plans. So if you got a solid 5, even in 13 in this generation, that kind of works. So, and you can just reason with others that you're maybe not aligned with on, so-and-so's a bigger threat, So,
right.
It'll be interesting to see where we go from here. I'm excited.
Me too.
Good. So as I always ask you, who's your top 3 that you either think are going to win or you really want to see win?
So I'm going to say, well, I won't say which is which, but my top 3 I think are Caleb, Emily, and Austin.
And I think that's how it's been for pretty much this entire time doing this.
They're not disappointing me.
No, and they're compelling. I'm going to actually change one of mine. So I'm going to say Emily, like before. I do like her, but it just really feels like they're just smashing you in the face with it, that here's your winner right here. It's either that or they're trying to, the editing is trying to set up for some kind of swerve later on where it's, it's not her, it's somebody else, So I'm going to say her. I'm going to say Kelly. I don't know. I just feel like I think I said her before, and she's just playing a good under the radar.
Yeah, I could see that.
And and we're still seeing some of her and everything. She went on the excursion. She's got this advantage now, so she made that deciding vote and everything. So I'm going to say her, and I do like her. She seems quite competent. And last time I said Drew, I'm going to change it to Austin.
Oh.
Because I don't dislike Drew, but the more I see of Austin, the more I'm like, when I first saw him, I'm like, oh, this guy seems like the strong, athletic, but happy-go-lucky guy. No, he's really thinking things through and everything and trying to talk to people the right way. So, and it seems people get along with him more than Drew. So I'm gonna put him in that top 3. And I do like him. I've always have. I'm liking him more now. So
yeah, I just want to make a note too. Like, they're all very, I guess it's how it always is. Maybe it's the way they edit it, but they're all very articulate when they speak, these confessionals and that. I mean, I think like if somebody asked me a question, I'd be like, well,
yeah.
And they just like, regurgitate out these like explanations where I'm like, wow, they're really smart. And listen how they talk. And I'm talking Austin, Caleb, Emily.
Yeah.
Those, I would love to see them at this point in the final 3. I would love to see that.
Ideally, that's what you want to see. Like, everybody in the final 3 is deserving of it.
Yeah.
Of that
and can
win.
really talk strategy, how they did it, why they did it.
Can win over final the jury and everything at the final tribal. Yeah, that's ideal because then your performance, it doesn't matter how good you are because if they're all good, then they really have to win over these people's votes. Sadly, oftentimes it winds up being 1 or if we're lucky 2 people because they always want to bring the people that nobody's going to vote for. So,
right, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, here, I don't know if there's anybody that's completely out of the run. Well, okay, I don't want to be mean, but I feel like J. Maya might currently out of the running because, like, we don't see much of her and she hasn't really made any moves, but that could change if she doesn't get voted. Her, Sifu, like, we don't see a lot of them. They don't do a lot. People are trying to get rid of Sifu, but there's a good handful of people that could hold their own at the end there right now. So we just got to see if they go farther or if it's the more quiet people that go farther. So
yeah, and what's interesting too is the fact that how they used to like get out the older people, and you got Julie being the oldest. Which what is she? 49? I mean, she's not that old.
And Bruce at 46, he's still there too.
That's right.
Both older contestants are still in it. So
and they're older and they're younger than me.
Well, they're the oldest people playing.
Yeah,
you can word it like that. I mean, we went from season 1 having a guy who was 72 and a guy who was like 67 or whatever, one on each tribe, to now, man, they're in their mid to late 40s. They might be a liability, and these 2 haven't been. So.
No. I think they've held their own. I mean, well, they're not that old.
No, it's just
they're older.
They get stuck with the old person tag basically because they're parents and of older kids and stuff like that. The median age is like 35 or something. Like everybody's like 22 to 35 or something like that, and then you have these 2 who are 46 and 49 or something like that. So, but it'd be nice to see like Julie at the end even and be like, hey, people say someone like me, isn't always cut out for this, but here I am.
I could see that being a thing.
I could see her being like you wouldn't expect her to get votes, but she does because people like her and everything. Yes. So and she did good enough to keep herself at the end there. So we'll have to see. We still got 13 people we got 10 more we got to get rid of. So
yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add about what's going on right now?
No, I think we covered it. 2 days, we get the next one. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, we almost forgot to record this episode, so we're such professionals.
Well, life gets in the way, and tomorrow's Halloween, and,
Happy Halloween, everybody watching.
Yeah. Get lots of candy.
The scariest thing about this podcast is that it's still going to go up on time. Boo! I don't know, it was a bad joke. But... All right, well, thanks for listening in. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.